Hello guys, and welcome back to a partial Cozzy's Customs. I say partial because this is pretty much completed, and me being a bit of a fool and not keeping copies for this particular figure custom, basically my video disappeared. And yeah, so we got this. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what I've actually done here and why this is a custom, or my kind of custom body swap. Because on face value, you're probably looking at this and saying, what have I actually changed? And it's the whole body itself. So it's as simple as that. The whole body's been swapped out to a jointed body with tougher joints, and it obviously won't deteriorate. So as you can see, you got Harley Quinn here from Arkham Knight, obviously by Hot Toys. And I kind of had like a nightmare experience unboxing this. I originally wanted to do a video on unboxing, and I basically got so pissed off that I scrapped that. And I'll explain why and what happened to my particular figure of this Harley. Obviously here, this looks pretty good. And a lot of people, again, on face value, probably think this is just the original stock figure. Obviously, if you do have this figure, this pose is pretty ballsy to do with that original body. And I'll kind of get into my nightmare experience with that body itself. So what I do is I'll let Harley here spin around one more time. If you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and we'll get into the video. So this is Harley here closer up, and I've just kept her on the display base because her holding this massive machine gun is going to make her top heavy, and I'm not having her topple over. I've already gone through enough headaches with this figure as it is. I don't want it toppling over. But if I zoom in just a touch where the elbow joints are, as you can see, there's joints on the left and right side of her arm. Obviously the whole body's been again replaced, which again isn't really significant, but this is more just me not really complaining, but giving just caution to collectors who want to buy these rubber bodies from Hot Toys. Again, this is not really a big custom compared to the other stuff I've done. Like I just said, it's more of a cautionary thing. So what I'll do is I'll just bring the body that I pulled apart, because my one came in a state that I don't think a lot of people's would, with one portion of it. But I think there's also another complaint that I think a lot of collectors don't know what their rubber bodies are actually going through. So what I'll do is I'll actually bring the Hot Toys one here, and again, this has not been like, I haven't purposely tarnished this shit or whatever. This came out straight out the box like this, and the main disappointment is, and what I'll do is I might bring the light a touch bit closer. The main disappointment is not the color discoloration, because again, this is all covered by the kind of corset blouse. So you're not even going to see that, but still that is something of caution, because I mean, look at that, it's shit. Like, once this flakes, it's just going to flake all the way up, and it's done. And that's probably what's going to happen with most of the bodies that you guys get. But the main problem with mine was this. Is fresh out the box, the clip is broken. And again, I was going to do a review on this and unbox it, and this, you know, I took it straight out of the clamshell. This fell off. And naturally I was pissed. I mean, even though my original idea was to do this and put a plastic body underneath this, because I did want to have her pose like the iconic thing when she's with Robin and she opens the back of the prison cell and she does this pose, and that's the iconic part, right? But I probably wanted to go ahead and sell this, you know, because I wanted to switch the body and sell this loose for cheaper, because again, I don't need it. And some collectors may want to have a spare body. But, I mean, look at it. It's in a terrible state, like... And this is what... It's not just this character, like the Wonder Woman characters. I think some of the other Harleys have this as well. Anything with the rubberized material is not probably going to have a broken arm. But if I go a bit closer, you're going to get stuff like this that just flake and turn to shit and rot. Like, you can see the discoloration on... Let me focus up a touch here. Just on the shoulders, even on the elbow. Like, I haven't even bent this. Because again, I wanted to keep this as mint as possible. I mean, look at the even seam line of how they've done this. I mean, it's just overall really, really disappointing. And again, I'm probably the 1% that would have experienced this, but majority of people are going to experience this flaking. And that's inevitable with rubber. Again, the joint breaking is probably 1 in a million. And if anything, if it was going to happen to a collector, it's probably best that it did happen to me, because again, I was going to swap it out regardless of the state of the Hot Toys body. But I'm going to cover up a bit because, again, I don't want to go too crude. But, I mean, stuff like this, I mean, what's that? I mean, that's disappointing as well. Like, it's unacceptable, because it's like they're taking shortcuts. And if everybody's like is chewed up like this, again, it's a very shortcut thing for Hot Toys to do, and just cover it up with a costume. And the majority of collectors aren't going to pull it apart and do what I'm doing. But again, it's a disappointment if every figure is chewed up underneath the cloth material. But basically, all I did was, and what I might do is I might bring her up just a touch bit more closer. So what I had to basically do is take everything off, basically, you know. And to do that, I had to spin her around. And it's a touch bit crude, as in the way I had to do it, but you're not going to really see it from the back. So I'll zoom in a touch, and you can see a split here. And basically what I had to do with that is I grabbed the blunt side of a scissor. So not the actual part that you cut paper with, but the grooved, smooth part where you would hold it when it closes. And I just gently wedged it in between this, and it pried open. And then you got to do the same thing with this little clamp bit here, and it all comes off. And that's probably the most difficult part, but I've had experience doing it with this. I might bring the character out later, but the Watchman comedian has a similar design like this, and I've done the exact same thing with that character, because that body was even worse than this. It was actually melting and turning into water. So I had to do a custom job on that for myself too. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into with this type of material. So for this, it wasn't that difficult. So basically I had to take all this off, and put it on a body. I think it was called Hang Toys, if I believe. It's a pretty sturdy body. It's actually really good. The only problem is it was a touch size bigger than the Hot Toys one because it's rubber. The Hot Toys one's rubber, so when you put all this back on, the rubber squishes and you can wiggle some stuff in, obviously, on that body. While everything's harder plastic, you can't really do that. So that's why you get here, it's just a couple of millimeters of gappage. But lucky it was just enough to put a couple of drops of glue. Again, like Hot Toys, because they've done the same thing. It's just that theirs fit more flush. So it's not like I've really tarnished this if I really want to resell this, which I'm never going to resell because I love the character in this version especially. But yeah, just a few drops of glue here and it dried up fine. And again, from the front here, there's not really a massive difference compared to the Hot Toys body. I mean, yeah, you can say this is a bit paler, I guess. Maybe a touch. But again, this version of Harley wasn't like Margot Robbie where she jumped into the Ace chemical vat. So she had more of a natural complexion, you can say, compared to the Suicide Squad one where she was fully like Joker, she was fully bleached, which isn't really accurate. That's why I never really got invested with her version. But yeah, I hope I've explained it as good as I possibly could, because obviously explaining something is much more difficult sometimes than, presenting it yourself. It's a shame that my videos got lost, but again, hopefully if you are experiencing something similar with either this figure itself or even just another one, I know the BVS Wonder Woman, I think, had some issue. Again, I think that was like the first time Hot Toys done a female rubber body figure, like the full whole torso and all that. So I think that one had a bit of problems too, if I remember. So hopefully you guys can view this and maybe inspire yourselves to change it around and fix it for the better. But yeah, hopefully I've explained it as well. So what I'm going to do now, just before I finish up, is I might as well throw the other figure that I was talking about, which is the Hot Toys comedian, the Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So I might as well bring him up and put her side by side, only because I've done a similar thing with him. So I might as well do that now. So this is obviously the Hot Toys comedian here, next to video game Harley Quinn, Arkham Knight. And this is probably my first big custom I did, because I had to fully rechange pretty much everything. The pants, obviously the badge is now accurate to the comedian's badge in the movie and in the comics. The whole undersuit, the armor, kind of like vest, that had to be completely changed, because again, the Hot Toys one was just disgusting and wrecked. It was something wrong with the way they produced this rubber figure. Sorry about that movement. The vest underneath the straps was rubber, and the body itself was also rubber, and I think them two mixing up was causing like a weird reaction for the figure to turn into water. It was like melting. And yeah, I automatically changed it once that happened. And mind you, I didn't buy this day one. I bought this really, really cheap because of that reason. And I liked Jeffrey Dean Morgan's as the comedian, and it's probably the few Zack Snyder movies I actually do enjoy. So I picked him up and I knew what I was getting myself into, obviously. So I already had a vision that I wanted to change that and do a custom work on it. And yeah, this was probably my first big custom on a Hot Toy figure where, again, I changed out a lot of stuff. I had to Frankenstein parts with DC Direct, I think. Yes, because I got the DC Direct Rorschach, so I'm pretty sure it was that figure that I had to Frankenstein it with. It was like a 13-inch DC Direct figure, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I had to basically do the same thing I did with Harley and swap the body out. What I actually might do is I might cut and zoom him in and just quickly show you that he is just as easy to disassemble as her. So I might as well just do that now. So we got good old comedian here. Actually, good is probably not the best description for this guy. This guy's pretty effed up. But again, forgive the kind of outdateness of the way I customized this. It is probably my first custom I did, but for what it is, it's actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy overall about this. Hot Toys for some reason missed the smiley badge. For some reason, it must have been a copyright thing. Actually, I think it might have been because obviously Alan Moore is the writer for the Watchmen comics, so maybe he didn't give permission. Yes, Alan Moore's kind of a bit iffy with his licensing and giving it away, so maybe that had a reason to, you know, basically Hot Toys not making it and doing it accurate. But what I was saying is the vest here itself was the main issue for the Hot Toys one. It was rubber and the whole torso piece, and I think the arms may have been rubber as well from the Hot Toys one. And because these two were touching, it had some, like I said before, it had like a weird chemical reaction where this would all water up and it just completely disintegrated this figure. So again, I had to get this from DC Direct. I don't remember if the belt harness is the original Hot Toys. It might be because it's got paint apps of damage, so that might have been this might have been the Hot Toys one. The straps, I'm pretty sure, are the Hot Toys version as well. The weapons and accessories are, oh, actually no, I'm incorrect. This is the DC Direct pistols, the dual pistols he has, because again, it didn't have the smiley thing, and I think it says something on it. I forgot what it says, and I can't be bothered zooming in. But basically the back here is a bit crude and a bit worse off than what my Harley is. And again, this was my first time doing something as big as this. But overall, it worked. What I had to do is basically the same thing as Harley. So I had to pry open one of the sides of the ammunition belt here. I actually think it's this side that may be exposed, but the grenade launcher's in the way. It may have been this one here. Anyway, whichever one it was, that was the equivalent to Harley's corset. You have to basically do the same thing. Split it open and you can take the harness off. And I had to swap the body with, again, the DC Direct parts, and you can see there's actually a fabric singlet I put under, and I had to glue it all together. So this one's kind of irreversible, where this was kind of just a once and done, and hopefully it worked, and it did work for the most part, and I'm pretty happy about it. Again, it was my first big custom, and I was pretty happy about it overall. The pants are DC Direct as well, that I painted, I'm pretty sure. I painted this glossy leather look for it. So this isn't the original leather pleather shit that Hot Toys bring out. This is fabric materialed And I think I don't know what I exactly did to give this shiny look. I don't remember. It was a while ago. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. But it gives a glossy look to just pass as leather. So yeah, that was pretty much it with this. And I think overall it's held up pretty good. Like, a lot of people didn't like the expression on this one. I think it suits that scene that I've portrayed where the comedian's basically beating up the writers who are basically want to ban superheroes. Again, if you haven't watched Watchmen, it's a pretty good movie. Again, it's one of the few good Zack Snyder movies in my opinion. Obviously, the comic book is... Obviously, the original source material is going to be leagues better than a movie adaptation in my opinion. But I think this is still worthy of a watch if you haven't. If you guys like The Boys, it's similar tone as The Boys. The Boys have a bit more comedic element mixed in it too. That's why it's so charming and well loved. But this is probably the similar adaptation to The Boys. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the comedian here. What I'm going to do is I might do one more comparison of just something that can partner up with Harley and make sense. So I might as well just do that and I'll let you guys go soon. So we basically got Arkham Deathstroke here with Arkham Harley. And the Deathstroke one is such a good figure. I've added a couple of weapons just here and there. This one almost looks like it's going to come out. There we go, that's probably a bit better. I actually didn't have a chance to pick up the Arkham Asylum Joker, and because this whole theme is deterioration, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because Joker's jacket, if I remember correctly, had a pleather stitching at the back, and I don't know how long that's going to hold up itself. You know, the whole theme of this video is longevity and deterioration. And that's why I never really picked up the Joker. As good as a figure as it is, I think it's up there. Probably the top 2 best Joker figures Hot Toys have done. Jack Nicholson probably being the best one so far. But yeah, that's why I never really picked up that. And the price now that figure's going for is insane. And again, I'm not going to risk buying something that expensive in the aftermarket and it's just a ticking time bomb before it rots worse than what it could be. But yeah, overall, I'm happy that this turned out very, very good. Again, it's a shame that the body itself from Hot Toys was, you know, I'm going to be truthful, it was shit condition and it's pretty much unacceptable condition. Lucky as well that I bought this on a site that I don't really recommend the site because that's another pile of dog shit. But I had a few coupon points that I could buy this pretty much $100 off from retail. So that's also a pretty good thing that mine turned out bad and I got $100 cheaper, I guess. I guess that's a positive outcome. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, it's more explanatory. It would have been a bit better, again, if I was able to show it a bit more of how I got to this. Hopefully, the future videos I do that are customized related, I won't make that dumb mistake again of deleting videos or misfiling them or whatever the hell I did. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you do like and sub. And I'll see you in the next video.